Hey friends, this is Jessica-levity Day Lover, reminding you that you are not alone on the polyamorous path. If you're looking for peer support or coaching on your non-monogamous journey, and you want to work with the Day Lovers, head to remodeledlove.com and book with us today. I know I'm going to have to turn Wade's microphone way higher than ours.
Yeah, like my coworker is constantly being like, Wade, if you're not awake, you have to speak up because your voice has like way too much bass in it.
I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new.
You're listening to Remodeled, the podcast. Remodeled is a project whose goal is to expand the cultural narrative on healthy relationships in order to include ethical non-monogamy, non-partnered, asexual, open, and more. We are here to redefine love.
I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new.
Hey everyone, welcome to Remodeled, the podcast. I am your polyamorous mama, Jessica-levity Day Lover, 36 weeks pregnant, almost getting closer. And with me in Dream Life Studio here in Reno, Nevada, in the basement of our house, is the man who laughs while reading the dictionary casually for fun. It's Mr. Day Lover.
Also 36 weeks pregnant at the moment. I just find it hilarious when something is perfectly worded.
You're talking about this is why you laugh at the dictionary?
Yeah, totally. When something is worded absolutely in the correct way that I couldn't have thought of, I think it's just brilliant, and it cracks me up.
That is the most Enneagram 5 thing I have ever heard. But like, I will hear him. Let's be for real. You read the dictionary like someone reads a book while you're on the toilet.
And in other locales as well, but yeah.
That's true. No, I have seen you reading the dictionary on the couch, and I'll hear you laughing, and I'll be like, what are you laughing at? And you're like, oh, this word.
Yeah, or something like that. I probably can't dig up an example for you at the moment, but yes.
No, consorts was one of the words that you were like, I'm laughing at the word consorts.
Right. Yeah, the way a word looks, the way it's spelled, the way it rolls off the tongue. I think it's just utter hilarity.
Oh, God. You're so cute.
I know.
And I know all your bitches are listening to this right now, swooning, going, this is why we like him.
I know. Cute's my brand. I can't undo it.
And with us in the studio, 6 feet away, one of the greatest souls on this planet. I can't look at him right now because I know if I look at him, he will get bashful. But he's one of my favorite human beings I've ever known in my life.
I concur with this.
It's Mr. Wade Gaynor. Hello, Wade.
Oh man, I'm super glad that I am black because you can't see me blush. Hello.
It's an honor to have you here.
I'm super stoked.
We've been talking about it for the last 2 days, how excited we are to have you. I love your brain. I love your heart. I love your soul. I love everything you are. And so I cannot wait to just capture the spirit of Wade Gaynor in this podcast. And you just binged all of the episodes.
I did.
And what are your thoughts? Because you're a podcast man. We send each other podcasts all the time.
Yes.
So you didn't know, because you're not on social media, which I admire about you. You didn't know we had launched this podcast, and then I told you about it, and you said, I had just made your whole day, which made my day. Because if you guys don't know, Wade and I are in love. We're still figuring out what that looks like.
Can you guys figure that out, please?
Well,
I'm waiting over here.
We're making a baby in a different way right now.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later in the podcast. So you binged almost all of the episodes in a matter of a week. What are your thoughts?
So I made notes for me coming in tonight.
Oh my God, this is why I love you.
And one of the last notes was a starfish mushroom story, which is really confusing because I thought that was a note for me. Like, I have to tell them about my starfish mushroom story. No, that's not mine. That was my favorite story from y'all. I was just like, man, Joe coming into a place where someone is on mushrooms and just being like, yeah, okay. It's just like, all right, that's tight.
Well, when it's your crush, you're like, I can do this.
Well, and Joe is the guy who can slip right in. I feel like you could too.
Totally.
I'm having a memory of walking up to you on mushrooms.
Me
I think,
as well.
Wearing a tutu at a music festival or something like that. And like, I couldn't even tell you were tripping balls. You were just Wade.
Yes. Mushrooms has actually been a litmus test of mine with potential partners. It's interesting. My life partner now, Rachel, her and I went out drinking, and we started the night off with mushrooms, and it was the most glorious, like, night into morning.
That is so romantic.
Wow, starting the night off with mushrooms. I like your
Yes.
style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and mushrooms have a very intimate relationship.
And so then it is perfect that Joe and my love story starts
Yes.
with mushrooms.
Precisely.
It's an intimate space between folks.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can't trip with just anyone either.
No, you
No
can't
way.
just do that with anybody.
It's the worst.
Yeah, no, God, when you're like, I'm in the wrong company, in the wrong environment, get me out of here. You can't turn the mushrooms off, so gotta change everything else.
Yep.
So just to update y'all, because I haven't updated Mr. Daylover yet. So we're at over 3,800 downloads of our podcast, 7
wow.
episodes deep, and an
Dang.
estimated audience size of 435, and that grows every day.
That is so freaking awesome.
I'm one of those.
You are one of those.
Yes.
So we are in the studio with Wade. I've been waiting for this day. I had you in mind when we launched this podcast to be one of our guests. And the thing that I love about you, besides your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, your character, is just how interesting you are. Just like episode 7, Joe's long distance partner, Lore. Just an amazing, interesting person. Same thing with you. So I asked Wade to list his identity for me. So Wade is a 31-year-old Black, polyamorous, pansexual, cisgendered male with narcolepsy who's been sober for 4.5 years.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on the sober thing. First of all, you know I love sober people.
So attractive.
It's so hot. Yeah. Oh my God. I love it. Here we are talking about mushrooms, and I'm like, I love sober people. But I really love just the recovery process. I particularly don't like alcohol. And so watching people, especially young people who have walked the path of recovery and speak about it so eloquently as you, it's a really big deal. How do you feel?
I feel decent.
That's honest. Honestly, that's a bullshit question to ask a year into a pandemic anyway.
I mean, like, how do I feel with being in me and my sobriety? I feel great sometimes, other times not so great, but in general, actually, a year and a half before I stopped drinking, I was writing in a journal every day. And when I look back, I can see like the months leading up to where I was like, oh, not really having fun drinking right now, but oh well. And then just going on. And then when I look back at it now, I'm just like, oh, past Wade, you were so close, but it wasn't time yet. And like, I always feel like I got lucky in the sense of, for a lot of people, I always feel like they have to hit like something bad has to happen. But then I also learned later that rock bottom is where you decide to stop digging yourself in a hole. And I didn't like end up getting a DUI or getting in a car accident because I was definitely headed in that direction.
Wow.
And, in thinking of Polyam and my sobriety, it actually has a like convergence point, but we can bring that up later in an hour.
No, let's go there now. So tell me how your sobriety ties in with your polyamory. I mean, God, that sounds beautiful, and I don't even know what you're talking about yet.
So I'm like listening to all the episodes, right? And I'm like, how does my story Polyam start? I blame it on my mom because when I was younger, she always used to tell my sister and I that friends can kiss. And I took that like way literally.
What a cool mom.
Yeah, that is.
And like, it was like something that was repeated probably like 3 times, but it like nailed itself in my head to where that was just like my really strong belief. The first time I tried Polyam with a partner, it was more so her guidelines for me were, it was like, you can sleep with other people so that way it doesn't come off as cheating from her to me. And I didn't really experiment or explore that at all. And the second partner I tried Polyam with, it was much more like forthcoming and thoughtful and mindful. But, there wasn't really times where we didn't really click or mesh really well in the ways that I feel like I have to in a like main partner. And so it brings us to Rachel, who is my life partner. And we started dating 6 months before I quit drinking. And so let's say that December, that January, she like went out with some friends and then ended up sleeping with one of her friends. And we had talked about it in our courting. It was like 6 months courting. We had talked about the idea of an open relationship. We hadn't necessarily like nailed things down. The day after, I'm sitting at work and she messages me on Facebook. She's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry." And I'm like, "What's up?" And she tells me, and I'm like, "Well, what are you sorry for specifically?" And like, we talked it out. I was like a little bit frustrated because we had never really nailed down the details or really talked about anything. And then fast forward to that June, she was out of town. So I was out for my birthday celebrating, raging out, doing my classic tequila and margarita mix Camelback.
God.
Yeah. That was a fun night. Minus, there was a girl I went to high school with, hadn't seen her in like 5 years. And I saw her and her husband out. And we ended up going back to my place and hooking up. Except in Rachel and I's whole talking about being open and being polyam, I was the one that set off with the rules or the guidelines. Like, hey, if we can kiss people, that's fine. Don't need to like necessarily like get permission. If we're going to do more, have sex with somebody, we definitely have to call and be like, "Hey, I'm about to do this thing. How do you feel about it?" And I didn't. And she came back to town the next day and I had told her, and obviously she was really upset. And that was like a breaking point in my mind because I always likened myself as a very principled person.
Yeah, definitely.
And in that moment, I did something. I established a rule and broke it, and I couldn't answer for it, and I didn't really know why. And I was like, well, maybe when I do these things that I can't answer for, oh yeah, maybe it's because I'm always drinking when these things happen. And that's when it all dawned on me that like, hey man, I can't do this anymore. And in our conversation that I had with Rachel, like I used to have a really hard time with like stonewalling. And that was the first time in my life I actually broke through my stonewalling because I could like feel and see our relationship just severing as I was just stonewalling, and I like fought that. And yeah, 2 weeks later, I quit drinking. And, since then we had a long time where we decided that we weren't going to see other people and to give ourselves more time to build our relationship. I always think this story is kind of funny in the sense of I knew it was coming and she didn't. We had 2 friends and they are polyam, and I was out of town and she went out drinking with them. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go hang out with them." I'm like, "Okay." And she texts me like at 12. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to stay out with them a little bit longer." And I'm like, And then that was the last time I heard from her that night.
No.
And they had like hung out, ended up drinking quite a bit, and then hooked up. And I was pretty upset by it. And because I was like, dude, why didn't you like give me a heads up? That was like our mutual agreed to like expectation. That's kind of fucked up. And that the resolution on that comes in the future. So that happens. We're all still friends, and Burning Man comes up, and she goes out to Burning Man with them. And before she leaves, I'm like, "Hey, are you guys gonna hook up?" She's like, "No, we're not gonna hook up. We'll be fine." I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna hook up, but
I got a feeling
I'm not gonna say anything yet." And she goes out to Burning Man with them and has a great weekend. And she gets back, and she's like, "So I hooked up with them." And
at this time, this is a few years ago, where like really Burning Man had no way, like you can't call and be like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to hook up with someone. Can I have your consent?"
Precisely.
Yeah.
And what was nice about her going to Burning Man and me staying in town is knowing my friends and knowing Rachel, I was like, they're definitely going to hook up. And for me, my insecurities start when I don't have information.
Okay.
Like, not necessarily like a control freak, but I need to know everything. So like a control freak, but I don't have to control. I just need to know everything.
I feel you on that. When I'm left in the dark, I go a little crazy.
My insecurities just run rampant. That's generally the only time I ever really feel jealous is when I don't know what's going on.
Did you figure out your Enneagram?
5? No, it was a 3.
Oh,
Sorry, it's a 3.
All right.
Because it sounded very much like my Enneagram type, which
That's
is a
right.
5.
You told me that you were 3.
I can tell you exactly why that's 3. So if I am important enough to somebody, then they will tell me what's going on. If they don't tell me, then I'm not worth enough.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was part of the reason why I was looking forward to her going without me, is because I knew I was putting myself in a situation where I wouldn't get information. Yeah. And after she came back, we had talked for a while. And while she was gone, I had a good like mushroom trip by myself. And I got to thinking, And I'm like, why does Rachel always how does she not see these things coming? And then like she gets in situations where like they're drinking a little bit, and the idea to like let Wade know like, hey dog, I'm gonna have sex, doesn't like pass her mind. Into my mind, I'm like, that's super inconsiderate, because I think she's like worth a ton, and I would totally like let her know, not thinking that like wasn't and isn't necessarily the way that Rachel processes things. Like she doesn't look over her shoulder super suspicious all the time like I do. So in situations where going to Burning Man, having fun with friends, having sex isn't like in her purview. And then when it comes up, it's kind of like hey, it's there. And my hurt from her not telling me was me thinking that she was like either making a conscientious choice to be like, oh, I'll just tell him later, or just flat out forgetting me. Whereas in reality, it just wasn't something on her radar until it came up.
It's, first of all, brilliantly told story. Secondly, I love you. Thirdly, that's a very evolved way to interpret that. It's almost like a difference of love languages where you're like, this person doesn't love me. And then you learn about love languages and you're just like, oh no, we speak different love languages. I kind of feel like that's a spin on what you're talking about, where you're like, you know what, we're just kind of wired differently. And so you can intuitively see sex coming and interpret that sharing of information as valuing you, whereas she's just wired in a way that's like, oh, I'm not even thinking about it. That's probably not going to happen. So question for you. You mentioned you are very self-aware and you're like, well, this triggers me because it triggers my insecurities. So in episode 7, Laura talks about that they are not wired for jealousy. Like they're one of the, I call it 20% of polyamorous people who are just naturally compersive. They really are just, they never get monogamy brain, even when they're in NRE or anything like that. I would have bet, just on, because of how I think that I know you, that you were part of that 20%. Do you feel that you're more part of the 80% that has to constantly work through insecurities, monogamous programming, jealousy?
No, I don't really, when I say don't really, I'm like, my brain's like, well, don't say always, because that's impossible. I don't generally get jealous.
You don't seem like, that's why I would have put you in the 20%. You don't seem like the jealous type. So you're more just like, these situations with Rachel are bringing up insecurities about why she's not telling you.
Correct.
Have your guys' rules changed over time? Because
yes.
you've been together for 4 years, 5 years,
no.
5 years.
Yeah, let's go with your number.
Well, you told me that you were sober for 4.5 years and you dated for 6 months.
Oh, I love you, so you're amazing.
Rachel, I got you, girl. So you've been with Rachel for 5 years. You've been polyamorous that whole time, but you took breaks to establish foundation. In your polyamorous journey with Rachel specifically, have your rules changed, your boundaries changed? Do you still require consent before sex happens?
So I feel like I can't tell, I guess, a little bit more of that story, our relationship, without answering that question, or answering that question without our story. Anyways, so for a year, we lived with, or we shared a place with her partner and her partner's partner. And her partner was a woman, which was a trip for all four of us, because both of them have never had a relationship with another woman. And that was super fucking tight for me. Because, like, you know, there's... Rachel and I have a relationship that's almost like cats. We're not like up underneath each other. Like oftentimes, like I get off at work at home, like she'll be doing her nails, I'll be playing my video games, she's watching TV, I'm like casually watching it. And that is like intimacy to us. Like we'll be talking to each other, playing games, but like we don't have to be underneath each other. So when she was dating her girlfriend, it was super tight because, you know, decorating, for instance, decorating. I do not like decorating. I love the fact that Rachel loves decorating and I get my joy there, but I do not care about it. And her partner super loved decorating. So I was just like, yeah, here's some money to go buy decorations. I'm just going to go play video games. And then I win too. It was amazing.
The division of labor never gets old.
Yes.
That's not where I thought you were going with that story, and that's why I laughed so hard, but that's actually super fucking cute and a total vignette snapshot of why polyamory is so wholesome and amazing.
And I just saw your relationship flashing before my eyes, and really cleanly and crisply.
Yeah. And there's a couple times in there where the four of us hooked up.
Yes, see, this is what I was hoping for selfishly.
So the outcome of the whole arrangement and situation, unpleasant, but in the moments of it, it was pretty tight because I have a bit of sexual trauma, and I also am painfully self-aware and can easily go from like being ready to like I'm ready. And it's just super easy for me to get in my head, and to be around people who are patient and not have no expectations makes myself and my penis very encouraged and confident.
Yes, I love that. I want to talk about like you discovering your pansexuality. And I know, well, I think at least in the early 2000s and kind of in our millennial generation, it has been traditionally harder for men to identify, even become aware to themselves that they are anything like straight or gay, but bisexuality and pansexuality has traditionally been harder for men to understand because there's, again, no cultural script for it. So if you have any awareness of that journey, I would love to hear about it.
Oh, I do.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so this is perfect. So we're going to take a super quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to hear about Wade's pansexuality, which, is there any better cliffhanger than that?
Dun, dun, dun.
I am waiting.
This episode is supported by FX's Grotesquerie, a new series from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Heinous crimes unsettle a small community, and the local detective feels these atrocities are eerily personal, as if someone or something is taunting her. Starring Niecy Nash Betts, Courtney B. Vance, Leslie Manville, and Travis Kelce. FX's Grotesquerie premieres September 25th on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Okay, so we're back with Unremodeled, the podcast, and we've got Wade Gaynor in the studio, and you are getting ready to tell us about your journey into understanding your pansexuality.
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
So years ago, I knew this boyfriend and girlfriend. We were friends. We were like drinking buddies, like see each other like, hey, yeah. One night, many moons ago, I was out kind of by myself, and then I saw them, and they were out, and they were always like kind of feelsy. Not like in a necessarily like overtly flirty way. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Give me an age. Like, what age are you?
Oh, okay. I am 23.
Okay.
And they are mid to late 20s.
Got it.
And I meet them out, and we start making like flirty jokes. And the woman goes like, hey, you should come hang out with us at our house. And the boyfriend's like, yeah, dude, it'll be totally fun. And I'm like, all right, let's totally do it. And on the way there, we start like kind of holding hands, hugging, and then like kind of kiss, like I was kissing the woman, and the boyfriend's like, hey, Wade, me and you should kiss. And I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
Have you ever kissed a man before?
No.
Oh my God, this is the best
But
story
you were
ever.
fuck yeah about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, all right, well, I'm here. Let's just do it. I have a history of just kind of going for things and then later having to like explain it to myself why I just did that. Like, especially in my like early 20s, I'm going to stop saying like now. Especially in my early 20s, I just had this, I saw the world as like a fork. Dang it. And on one path, I knew what was going to happen if I didn't do X thing. But on the other path, I didn't know what was going to happen. And that was exciting. Mm-hmm. So when he was like, hey, we should kiss, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I can't stop saying like.
You're never going to be able to just let it go.
It's because I made the decree.
Yeah,
I cursed myself.
It's just part of the vernacular of casual conversation for millennials.
Thank you. And so we go to their house and we hook up. And that was also my first threesome.
Okay, so your first threesome was male, female.
Yes.
That's hot.
And it was their first threesome, and it was pretty fun. It was
It's such a toss-up. It's such a toss-up when it's everyone's first threesome, if it's going to be fun or not.
I got lucky there.
And it sounded like everyone was equally into it all ways.
Yes.
Which is crucial.
And I met them out. We did hung out until 7 in the morning, and I had to be at work at 9.
Oh boy.
I did not have enough time to take a shower, and then I just smelled.
Of all of the juices.
Yes.
That's so hot. Oh my God, this is our sexiest episode for sure.
To be honest, I get this weird pride.
Yes, fuck yeah.
When I have the smell of vagina on my face and I'm out in public, I'm just like, you smell that? Because I smell that.
Yeah.
See, we need more men like this in the world because women are so self-conscious about that shit.
Oh.
We need to know.
I'm here to tell you. I'll just stop myself right there. Question, were you surprised at yourself that it was so easy and natural to be sexual with a man?
Yes. So then I spent 2 months being like, am I gay?
This is why it's so confusing for men to be anything but gay or straight because there's no script for oh, well, I had a good time. I must be gay.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure I might be gay, but I don't feel gay, whatever that means. And so I went back and forth, and it wasn't a whole bunch of inner turmoil. I was just I don't really know. This is really hard to figure out. I don't care about figuring this out anymore. Whatever.
Yes. That was a huge breakthrough in my identity as well. I went through a really confusing time in college and was really scared that I was gay and was confused about being bisexual. And then literally one day my brain had that exact thought of I wonder if I stopped trying to figure it out and just lived my sexuality. And then all of a sudden, all of that weight just went away.
Plus, if I am gay, this is freaking awesome because the benefits are enormous.
Yes. Yeah, and then from then on, sometimes I'd go out and I'd be like, that dude's cute. I'm going to try to make out with him. Sweet, made out with him. I'm going to try to suck his penis. Sweet, sucked his penis. I'm going to have him suck my penis. Sweet, he sucked my penis. And then from there, there's a few times where I'm like, you know what? You got a condom? I got a condom. Let's you put your dick in my booty. I put my dick in your booty. And then we'll just have a good time. And I do not necessarily enjoy being a bottom, but it has a certain aesthetic to it.
There's an art form.
But
I love you so much. Everyone who's listening to this right now, please do you understand why I love this human so much?
There's a certain man energy when it comes to other dudes. Dudes are terrible kissers to me.
Yes.
But
what is that? What is that?
Because they just want to get on with the show where the
Yeah.
kissing is such an integral part of it. I mean, they're just missing out.
and the intensity is just there. I'm just damn, dude, this is fucking hot, bro. It's amazing.
I love this. And I love it's a big deal. I think for anyone's sexuality, but especially a black man, to be able to experiment in queerness and not have inner turmoil.
Yeah. What's funny is this is probably the most out of the closet I've ever been in my discussing my experiences with dudes. I figured it would come up. I was like, well, screw it. Let's do it.
Are you cool with me keeping it?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, that's awesome. I think this is amazing, and I think pansexuality is the supreme sexuality. It should be everyone's goal to be pansexual.
Yeah, that's the adult question. I'm like, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I can find an attractive quality in anyone that I meet, unless they have ugly personalities, and I'm just eh.
Well, it has the most infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
I still currently identify as bisexual, but I'm really pushing myself to explore the pansexual identity. I just don't have the experience of those infinite combinations of gender, body, sexuality. I'm also a little bit confused about whether or not I'm demisexual. I've been playing with that ever since Lore fucked me up in episode 7 because I really need emotional, intellectual. I'm definitely a sapiosexual. I've identified as that before, so being attracted to someone's intellect. And if there's a humorosexual, if you're funny, If you are funny, I will be in love with you. End of story. But demisexual, Laura described as having the switch where they don't even control whether or not it gets turned on, and sometimes it just, the connection turns it on, and I can't really have sex without that switch being turned on. So I would like that switch to be on, and I would like to be pansexual. Just tossing that out there.
Well, hearing you guys describe it, I'm like, sign me up. That sounds like the superior one.
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, ladies and gentlemen.
It just took Wade to come down into the studio.
Yeah.
Okay, so stop the podcast, everyone. We're going to be back in about 30 minutes.
Probably an hour.
So, Wade, when I asked you, what did you want to talk about on this podcast? You wrote back, remind me to tell you about trying to process the fact that Rachel, your wife, may end up dating another black man someday.
Hey, yeah, there's that. So, it struck me a couple years ago. I was like, yo, Wade.
Because she's white. Like, let's
Yes,
talk about
Rachel's white.
Okay.
I am black. It struck me a couple years ago, and I'm sitting there. I think it was the time where Rachel was mentioning that she saw a cute black dude, and I got it like a pinch in my side, and I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm okay with that.
It's like we're like polyamorous, but like I didn't say that you could date another black man.
Like this, I'm so glad that I am black, because if I was white and saying this, it would sound weird. But as a dude who is also black, if she was to go and like date a white dude, I'm like, all right, that's dope. He's kind of cute. But if she dates a black dude, then I'm like, is it because of my lazy eye? I'm black. I thought I checked all the black boxes. Also, what's his penis like? I need to know.
Okay, can we talk about this? Because I've been dying to talk about this. How much do men in polyamorous relationships or penis-bodied AMABs, assigned male at birth, just learned that term. Did you know that term?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's like the newest term. So AFAB and AMAB, assigned male at birth, assigned female at birth.
What's Ahab?
Captain.
I'm sorry.
So how much do people with penises who are polyamorous think about the penis size of their partners?
Oh, I have to clarify on the whole Rachel having sex with a black dude and I'm wondering about his penis. I would just be wondering if it is small or not. I don't really care what size it is.
Okay.
Just like a sick fascination. Like, is it true?
Oh. Okay, well, you're the one who tossed that out there.
Yeah, otherwise, I'm like, okay, so I have visualized the idea of another dude's penis going into Rachel's vagina repeatedly and the image of her face enjoying it. And
this is so real.
There's always a tinge of like
you feel it in like a third shock.
Yeah, just like a sharp pain for like half a second, and then I'm like, wait, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. That's what I was wondering about.
I think it's tough because when you get jealous around other partners, there are things you can control and things you can't control, and this is something that you can do literally nothing about. And so for me, I think it's one of those insecure ticks that might pop up originally but will pass eventually.
I've been wanting to talk about it with two sexually secure men or male-bodied people, because I think it's something that penis-bodied people who are polycurious think about but are too afraid to ever say anything about. We had one friend one time say I could never be polyamorous because I would always obsess over the size of the other dude's dick. And it's like I wanted to honor that. I mean, the cultural expectation on penis size, probably worldwide, definitely in America, is really sad. It's really fucked up. And, you know, as a woman who deals with her own body insecurities, I know that that's the big one for the AMABs out there. So I was curious how much that actually does cross your mind. And I think you described it perfectly. It's like you have the image, you feel the twinge in your gut of like, oh, and then if you stay with it long enough, it goes away and you can move into compersion of, you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, just, you know, I want you to have great sex regardless. And so it just kind of falls into that category.
That's a ding.
Yeah. So, I want you to have a great time. And so that just gets another thing added into that category. So once the jealous feeling passes, then you can move into compersion that way.
I mean, for me, it's breasts. Like, And Joe always says, yeah, but you could change those. And it's like, yeah, I could. First of all, we broke. And also implants isn't something that I could do because I'm just so afraid of that implant sickness. And so it's sort of something that I'm always like, plus some breasts are just greater than others. And as a bisexual, I'm both like, I want to touch those. And also I wish those were mine. Mm-hmm. And so I think, and I'm just putting this officially into the podcast because I think that there are a lot of people out there who have this somewhere in their mind of why they could never venture down the polyamorous road because they are too insecure about their bodies, whether that's their genitals or something else, or just even how they are as a lover. Like, what if someone else is a better lover than you? And sometimes people are better lovers than you. Sometimes the chemistry between two people is just better than the one that you have. And what's your advice on that?
So first off, I will say, Jess, 95% of the time, I forget women even have breasts because I'm like a hips and butt guy and legs. So otherwise, man. So I remember watching when Rachel and I and our roommates hooked up and watching my roommate have sex with Rachel. And I'm like, dang, she's really getting into that. Oh. And it was at once part of me was like, oh, I guess I could like try that sometime. But also at one hand, I was like, guess I could try that too, to do that. And on the other hand, it was like, dude, I could totally try that too. That would be super dope of us to try it. So it's like this one hand, it's like this envious, like lingering jealousy kind of thing, like insecurity. And the other hand, it's like, dude, that looks like she's having fun. Do it. Maybe we should try to do that with her because I didn't think of that.
Again, brilliant way to put that. I remember the first time we ever had a threesome, this other Joe showed up, and there was this split second I was like, who the hell is that guy? And then it's like, well, like circumstances, chemistry, and I'm sorry, but there is a power and an energy to group sex that is just like, you can't really describe it, and it will bring out like a bit of jungle in you. So, and by that point we had been together for a really long time. And so, yeah, this different side of you came out.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the original question you asked, Wade?
How do you come to terms with like seeing your partner in a group sex setting, like making a sound they've never made for you before, or just like having a really fucking good time?
I think that the hotness of group sex is so much that it trumps that initial feeling, that tick, that you kind of notice it, and like, just like Wade described, like, oh, she's really into that, the way her pussy is getting licked right now. That's awesome, because I'm really super turned on by it. Yeah. So ultimately, I think just the attractiveness of that space is way more intense than any of those jealous ticks that are going to come along.
I have not yet had to deal with the situation to where Rachel's had sex with somebody who's like very obviously better at sex with Rachel in every aspect than I am. So I haven't had to deal with that yet. And I feel like that's almost like it's almost like a different conversation, because it could be like, oh man, like that dude's really good at eating her out. That dude's really good at putting his penis in her vagina. But like both of them, there's no one that's put together. So I got something on the dudes. Feel a little bit okay.
You're piecing together
like
your moves.
I just deal with those insecurities as they come.
And I think, you're laying it out in such a simple way that it's comical, but it's actually kind of powerful what you're doing right now in this interview, because it's not normalizing. It's more than normalizing. Like, you're taking these human emotions that get really trapped in ego, and you're breaking it down in a way is like, what you're really saying is, oh, his penis is going in her vagina in a way that's different than mine. And like, it sounds so silly to say it like that, but y'all, the semiology, say it with me. We haven't said it in a couple episodes. The semiology of what Wade's doing in this interview right now is really fucking powerful.
Yeah, and just to anyone out there who has these insecurities on the front end of being polyamory, whether they're about penis size or how good of a lover you are, or any other number of insecurities that could come up, I'm here to tell you the benefits greatly outweigh the drawbacks. And even just for your own personal growth and transformation, it's an opportunity, an invitation, if you will, to really look at those insecurities and help work through them in a really awesome way.
Yeah.
Well said, babe. And I feel like I get stuck on stuff all the time. And really, you just have to sit with it and realize this is my ego, and I do not want my ego to run my life. And you just have to kind of be with it. And if it's something that you want to improve, like that person looks like they ate pussy better than me, well, maybe I need to watch some YouTube videos or hire a sex worker or...
I'm sending her praise right now. I'm like, yeah, that's, yep.
Yeah, okay. You can hire, like, on Instagram now, I follow these fabulous Black female sex coaches that will work with you on Zoom. And that's whether you want to just have a Zoom chat with them or literally you can point the camera at you with your partner and they will coach you. And I know that is very triggering to a lot of people and it's kind of awkward and it's a very intimate space to bring a teacher into, but it is one way to get better. So
I will say Nina Hartley has one of the all-time greatest how to eat pussy videos ever.
So could you lay that information out just for those of us taking notes?
I will say I watched that video intently and did not touch myself in the meantime. I paid attention, took notes. And the next time I went down on Rachel, she said, "What?" And that was the greatest thing in my entire life. Not wow, not like, oh my God. It was, what? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, good for you. I think, especially with men, there's like this, I have to be naturally good at it and I can't learn anything. And if I learn something, then that's my masculinity's taking a hit or something stupid like that.
This sounds like the same school of dudes that are afraid of women using toys during sex.
Foolishness.
Bitch, yes. Same dudes who won't touch a girl on her period either. Whatever.
Man.
I did not intend this episode to be so sexual.
Lo and behold.
Hey, but before we wrap up, Wade, we should talk about this project we're working on. First of all, I want to say Wade's wearing my favorite shirt, which says, "I am my ancestors' greatest dream."
Yes.
Tell me why you wore that shirt.
I saw this shirt years ago. Somebody was wearing it on Instagram. And instantly my brain was like, motherfucking yes, every day. Because in the sense of, when my grandmother was younger, there was a beach in Florida that she couldn't go to because it was whites only. And she went back there 30 years later, ran out of the van and danced and laughed on that whites only part of the beach because, shit changes. And every day that I live my life, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams every day.
Fuck yeah.
Damn, boo. Especially all this talk of... They're like, yes, Wade.
Not sure
that's
if that's
our
what
baby.
they intended, but...
Right.
Oh, it is. It is.
Can I say one more quick note about Polyam experience for me as a whole? Yeah. So we do have one remaining rule, and that's, well, not necessarily a rule, but I prefer to have hang out or meet the person that she wants to have sex with. Like, hey, come over for dinner. Let's just loose stuff. But it's a lot of talking and feeling really, really, really vulnerable and stupid and confused, but you just keep talking about it. And that is how Rachel and I have done even now even nowadays, we know we're about to get in an uncomfortable conversation. We both know we're going to feel awkward afterwards, but we both try to, and we just talk for 2 minutes, pause, go back over it, talk for 2 minutes and pause. And it makes everything feel so much more pure. Wow. When I know her heart and she knows my heart, it just makes everything easier.
That's fucking beautiful right there, man. Thank you for sharing that. And we get a lot of fan mail, and a lot of that fan mail is this podcast encouraged me to talk to my partner, have a conversation. It helped us break through this thing that we were having. And I think what you dropped right there just now is something that at least half of the people listening to this podcast needed to hear. So thank you for that. And thank you for being someone willing to have tough conversations.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to plug real quick. You and I are working on birthing a baby together. Alchemist Movement existed as a spiritual entertainment company since 2014. Last year in 2020, we dismantled and we rebuilt with you at the helm. And now it's a very slow process, but that's good because white supremacy is fast, capitalism is fast, and we're like, fuck that. We're going to take it slow. And we're going the best that we can in a pandemic. And so talk about kind of your dreams for what we might do with this new Alchemist Movement.
Okay. Oh boy. So, side note, what is funny is the last time I was here doing an interview with you, Jess, was for Puzzle Pieces. And it was on the heels of the 2016 election. And I did not know it then, but that was kind of the catalyst for me to be like, yo, dog, we got to do something about the world because it's kind of fucked. And with the Alchemist movement, really, I feel in my heart what we are trying to do is go by a more methodical approach towards not necessarily ending racism or ending systemic racism, but more so forging a path for the future, because we're talking about systems, capitalism, white supremacy has been around for decades and generations upon generations. It's not something that's going to get done in 10 years or 20 years. It won't probably be done in our lifetimes. So instead of trying to win these small little battles, we have to plan for the future. We have to build a better foundation for the next generation to build upon. And that continues and continues. Like much like the racism that my grandmother felt is not the same as the racism that my mother felt, which is not the same as the racism that I felt, because it takes time and it takes perseverance and it takes this continued effort, sustained effort, emphasis on sustained, and that's our goal here.
Oh man, I am humbled every time I hear something like this. The fact that BIPOC folk just don't want to burn the fucking place down, that you care enough to want to pave that path toward the future is just so incredibly humbling and inspiring.
Yeah. Well, and I just think that you are so brilliant, and I really see that the universe, because we're still a spiritual organization at our core, it's just not our mission anymore. But spiritually, I really see that you were put here to do this because it's a unique fingerprint to who you are. And you know, where our mission right now is defined as being about intersectional justice. And so as we began to look at these systems of oppression and become more radicalized, what we saw is that you really can't pick one thing to focus on. If we wanted to be a justice-oriented organization for our community, which is in Northern Nevada, we were going to have to be intersectionally based, because you can't have environmental justice without racial justice, without food justice, without housing justice, without birth justice, without death justice, and so on. And so this is why it's taking so long to build what we're building right now, because we have to have a foundation so solid and so wide that we can approach each topic that comes our way with an understanding of all of the systems at play. And actually, we are building our board of directors right now, and you do not have to be local to join. And so if this is resonating with your soul right now and you're listening to this and you're a person of color, especially queer person of color, and you want to sit on this board of directors with us, like Chris, myself, Joe, the white folks, we would like to not be on the board eventually. We would like to step down and just offer our support administratively and with our talents to help build whatever the fuck y'all's vision is, especially Wade, who is the leader of this organization. Reach out to us. Let us know if you are interested in intersectional justice and being a part of what we're building here. You can let us know. But I love the way you think, and I love the way you write. And do you have any writing you're doing right now that people listening could read? Oh, he's blushing.
Whoops. Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes down like I'm playing a game of Tetris and the words are kind of scrambled, but then they start to assemble and I go, shit. I am currently writing a piece about what now, seeing as how, you know, Biden being elected, we have just enough of a quote unquote majority in the Senate to actually pass laws because we have majority in the House of Representatives. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of people that go, okay, sweet, we did it, our job's done, when really it's just as pressing as it was previously. And I don't want people to get complacent. Yes, the sky may not necessarily be falling for you, but the sky is certainly still falling.
And that's what I'm curious about. So as a black man, you know, how much trust and faith do you put in Democrats?
I mean, I put my trust and faith in progressive-minded people. If that so happens to include like Democrats, then so be it. I certainly know it does not include conservative folk. So yeah, my aim is forward. And it has become more and more evident that complacency is the devil, and trying to be nice about what we need to do is never going to work.
Bitch, yes, this is what I'm
I feel
talking
like
about.
we've tried that, right? We've tried being
Right.
nice.
And so I'll just say real quick, it always kills me when people go like, 8 years ago, we're like, oh yeah, we elected Obama, civil rights is done, there's no racism. And then we go to January 6th of this year and people are like, I don't understand how people could storm the Capitol. How did that happen? And I'm like, motherfucker, where have you been? And people are like, oh, I'm scared of my own country. And I'm like, damn, you must be white.
God,
That is so true. I mean,
yeah, fucking privilege ass point of view. That's what it is.
I know if you woke up to the fact that this country is embarrassment on January 6th, you haven't been paying attention.
Good morning. But also at the same time, I'm glad that you woke up, and I will embrace you with love and affection. And part of my affection is giving you shit.
And that's love to me, baby. That is love to me. And I'll leave it at this. Biden's still an imperialist in this imperialist project called America. Wow, this episode went on a fucking journey.
Whoops.
I think that you should start blogging once a week on Alchemist Movement's blog. Tossing that out there because y'all, Wade is a writer. And I love reading every single fucking thing that you write. Right now, you can find Alchemist Movement on Instagram and Facebook. And Wade is doing Wade's Black History Month. So every day in the month of February, you release an anecdote from your life. Some are hilarious, some are sweet, some are heavy. It's my favorite holiday. And they're on our Alchemist Movement Facebook and Alchemist Movement Instagram. I've been posting them there as well.
It is my gift to white folks so that way they have more than Dr. King and Rosa Parks to celebrate.
Oh my God, I love you so much. So you don't do the social media thing, so we don't need to plug you there, right?
The blog, apparently, because I will tell everyone, whenever Jess tells me I should do something and then I don't, it usually takes me a little bit of time, and then like the universe is like, dude, you're gonna have to do that. And I'm like, oh shit, yep, no, you're right, she was right the whole time. And so I just stopped running.
Oh, that's hot. That's part of our love story right there. All right, check out the blog at alchemistmovement.org in a couple weeks. We'll give them a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for listening to this podcast. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Homeslice Productions. We're also on Instagram at Remodeled Love. That is specifically our polyamory Instagram account. If you like what we're doing and you want to support our content, you can become a patron for as little as $3 a month at patreon.com/Homeslice Productions. We really need a new microphone. Just tossing that out there. So, and we also pay for our editing software. So yeah, your money is going to a good cause to keep us making content. Shout out as always to our executive producers, Homeslice Productions. That's me and Aimee Stashak-Moore. Also, what up to our new patron on Patreon, Tipper. We love you all so much. It is possible to redefine love. You're listening to Remodel.
Fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new.